name is Catherine Johnson, and for my financial accounting class, I'll be giving a quick intro to QuickBooks Online Simple Start using one of the problems from my from the 6th edition of Kimmel's financial accounting book. On the left, you can see that I have the problem pulled up in Wiley Plus. The problem is AP5-1A, and down below you can see some of the journal entries that I'm going to demonstrate how to input into your general journal in QuickBooks. I'll also be showing you how to post, how to close, and how to access various reports, as well as give some troubleshooting tips near the end of the presentation. Alright, so right now I'm on the home page of the QuickBooks Online Simple Start, and I'm going to take you over to look at the chart of accounts. You go over to the company tab and then to the chart of accounts. This gives a rundown of all of the accounts that will be in your general ledger. I have taken I have already entered in a couple of the balances from this particular problem. We're told that the cash balance is $11,219. You can see cash here, and then the common stock is at $11,219 as well. And now in the problem, the company that is actually completing these merchandising transactions is Jansen Hardware Store, and I've actually listed their name as the company in my version of QuickBooks up here. If you were to change that in the future, you could go to your account, company preferences. It'll take just a moment, and then you change it in here in the Jansen Hardware Store. You can change it to whatever you want. Alright, I'm going to go back over to company in the chart of accounts. You'll notice there are quite a few accounts in here, and that's because when I created the when I downloaded my version of QuickBooks, it asked me what type of company I was using, and I just chose other accounting as the type of company, and so it gave all of these accounts that could possibly pertain to accounting. Okay, so I'm going to go over to show you how to input our first entry, and you go to the banking tab, go down to more in this instance, and find journal entry. Okay, the first thing you see here, this field is highlighted, it's the date field, and we are starting with May 1st. I've already actually entered that here. If it didn't say May 1st, then I could either enter it in this field or click on the calendar here. Okay, so the first account is merchandise inventory, and I've already created this account. Had I not created this account yet, I would go into add new, and then here you can choose from all different types of accounts. In this instance, merchandise inventory would be an asset. I don't see that option here, so I'd choose from all account types. And I would go to other assets. Oh, Actually, let's go to other current assets, since this inventory would be a current asset. And here we see an example. There's inventory. We'll go to next. And there is inventory right there. We would click next again. And this is where I would enter merchandise inventory, or whatever I wanted to call the account. I'm just going to cancel this for now since I already created the account. One more thing before we go is that you could enter the balance of the account as well as of a specific date. We'll go ahead and cancel. Go back here and enter merchandise inventory. Once you start typing it, the account will automatically fill itself in if you've already created the account. I'm going to go ahead and enter that as a debit. And we have accounts payable and a credit of $9,200. Now, if I were to go ahead and save here, it would tell me that I needed to enter a customer for the accounts payable line here. So in this case, it is Vanco Wholesale Supply. I've already created this vendor here, but I could also add a new one. And I could enter that quickly here. There's a quick add. I'm not going to do that right now, because I've already done that. So I'm going to type V for Vanco. And I believe that's everything here. That's our first entry. In order to post that to the general journal, I'm going to click Save. Okay, up here it tells us that the journal entry was added. I'm just going to double check that and go to Reports. And I'm going to go look at the, let's find the general journal. We'll go to Report List. And then here's the journal. I've already been there today, so it's showing here. It would also show under Accountant and Taxes. I'll click that here. Okay, it's telling us this report contains no data, and that is because it is the current month, April 1st to April 28th. If you notice, when I input that first entry, I saved it to 2012 because May 2013 would actually be in the future. So I'm going to do a custom transaction, set specific dates of 5/1/2012 to 5/31/2012. I'm going to run that report, see what it shows us. Alright, so it shows our opening balances. That's what I had shown you in the chart of accounts. You see the balance for cash and common stock. And here is our journal entry. We're showing merchandise inventory at $9,200 and accounts payable $9,200. Okay, let's go back and continue. Alright, to get to journal entry, we're going to banking and more, journal entry once again. And I'm not sure what happened just there. Let's try that one more time. Banking and journal entry. Okay. Now, what's the date of our second entry? It's May 2nd. Okay. Accounts receivable. Debit $5,700. And of course, you can always enter a memo. Here, since it's in the problem, I'm going to enter it to record the sale. That's what we're doing. And that is just to help you remember what the entry was made for in the future. Okay, sales is the next. We're going to credit, and you'll see it automatically fills so that your debits and credits balance. And it carries down the memo as well. Okay. Now let's actually make the second part of this entry. Cost of goods sold, $46.28 is debited. We're actually going to change the memo to record the cost of inventory sold. Okay. Merchandise inventory, $46.28 is credited. And it looks like that's the end of that entry. Our debits and credits balance, great. And we're going to save in order to post that. It's giving us an error. When you use accounts receivable, you must choose a customer in the name field. Okay, so if we look at the problem, we sold merchandise on account. It doesn't tell us who we sold merchandise to, so I'm going to just enter customer. And you see I added that customer to customers. It's a pretty quick entry. Oh, it's still telling me I had a mistake there, and that's because I just added that name to the cost of goods sold. So you want to make sure that you're putting the customer name in the correct field. Alright, let's put that in the accounts receivable line. There we go. Save. Okay, it tells us here that entry was added. Alright, on to the next, May 5th. Okay. Accounts payable, we're debiting $600. In this instance, it's to record a credit from Vanco for a merchandise return. I'm just going to go ahead and skip that memo at this time. Merchandise inventory. Okay, 600. Okay, now the customer here is Vanco again, and we're going to go ahead and save. Okay, that journal entry was added. Let's do May 9th. Cash, debit $55.29. Sales discounts. We're actually changing this to 171. If you just press tab, it clears that credit that I had automatically put in there. And the next is accounts receivable. And it automatically fills that in so it balances our debits and credits. Okay. Now if I click save, it's going to ask me to fill something in here for accounts receivable, I'm just going to enter customer once again because it's not specific in the problem. And let's click save. It should post that entry for us, and it did. And let's go to May 10th. And accounts payable, we're going to debit 8,600. And I would just keep tabbing along here. Cash, and that's going to be 84.28. And one more, merchandise inventory, and it automatically fills that into 172 so that it balances with the 8,600. Okay, now our accounts payable field needs a vendor. That's still Vanco, and we're going to save, and it should save that entry for us, and it did. Okay, May 11th, and here we go. Supplies, we're going to debit 1262 and credit cash 1262. Everything balances, and we're going to click save. All right. May 12th. Okay, we're going to debit merchandise inventory for 37.86 and credit cash for the same amount, and save that. All right, May 15th. Cash account debiting 323 and merchandise inventory once again. Also, let's see, crediting 323. Our debits and credits match, and we're going to save. Now, May 17th. And merchandise inventory debiting 3,000 and accounts payable crediting 3,000. Now let's double check. This is my merchandise purchased from Strickler Distributors, so let's add them as a vendor. I'm going to add new. Strickler Distributors. Distributors, yes. And quick add as a vendor. And we're ready to go. Save. Okay, May 19th. Merchandise inventory. Let's debit 351. And cash crediting, oops, let's cancel that. Cash and 351, we're crediting cash. And we're ready to save once again. May 24th. I should scroll down here so you can see what we're entering. We are on May 24th now. Okay. So cash 75.73 is being debited, and sales, let's credit that same amount. We're going to call this to record the sale, and the same here. Alright, and continuing on, we've got the cost of goods sold for a debit of $56.38. We're going to change the memo here to record the cost of inventory and merchandise inventory, and we're crediting that account $56.38. Looks like our debits and credits match, and that is all for May 24th. Okay, let's save that one. The next entry is May 25th. Merchandise inventory. We're debiting $11.22. Accounts payable. Also crediting $11.22, and let's check what account this is. We've purchased merchandise from Fasteners Incorporated. So I'm going to enter a new vendor. They're called Fasteners Inc. Oop, missing an I. Okay. Quick add as a vendor. And let's double check here. Everything done. And save. Okay. May 27th. Alright, we have accounts payable for $3,000. We're debiting. And cash account, we want to credit for $29.40. And the merchandise inventory account automatically credits for $60 to match accounts payable of $3,000. And let's see if there's a vendor for accounts payable. This is pertaining to Strickler Distributors, which we've already entered. So there we go. And this one is complete. Let's click save. Okay. Next entry is May 29th. We're getting there. Sales returns and allowances. Okay. Debit for $140. And credit cash for the same amount. Let's scroll down here. Looks like there's a second part. We're going to call this to record refund of cash. Let's go back here to record refund of cash. And the next is merchandise inventory. We are debiting for $126. And cost of goods sold, crediting for $126. And our debits and credits match. Let's change the memo here to record return of inventory. Okay, all set. Yes. And ready, save. Okay, May 31st. Let's scroll down here a bit. Okay. Accounts receivable. And debiting for $17.95. Oh, let's go back one. Call this to record the sale and sales. Okay, it automatically filled in our credit to balance there. Alright, we're going to debit cost of goods sold for $11.64, and we are recording the cost of inventory and we're going to credit merchandise inventory, and it automatically fills that in for us at 1164. Okay, and our debits and credits match. Let's see here. And we don't have a specific customer, so I'm just going to click customer here. Otherwise it will prompt us to do that when I click save. Okay, we are ready to go. Let's click save. And I believe that was our last entry. Okay, so let's well, I've told you how to post. We do that by clicking save here, and it posts to our general journal. In order to close, we want to go to company and then click preferences. On the left side, you'll find company. Click there, and then you want to click on closing the books. And now you'll check closing the books. Okay. Now, this gives you the option to give a closing date. Let's close as of May 31, 2012. Okay, so what that means is that that you won't be able to change any transactions prior to this date. So all of those entries that we just made, well, it will allow you to change those transactions, but it's going to give us a warning, and I know that because it says here the closing date warning type. Now you have the option of just having a warning message or applying a password, so you have to go that extra step in order to make any changes. Okay, so that's how you would close the books. So currently we're closed for any dates prior to May 31st. Let's look at reports. Okay. Oh, before we do that, let's scroll down and save our changes. We were just prompted there. Let's look at that message again. So we were going to, okay, it said your changes will be lost if you navigate away, and I clicked cancel because I want those changes to be saved. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and click save. Okay, alright, back to reports. Okay, let's see. We want to look for the income statement. Another name for that is the profit and loss statement. It says it contains no data because there haven't been any entries this year. Let's do custom, and let's go back to May 2012. Oh, if it'll let me. 31, 2012, and run report. And there it is, our income statement for May of last year. Okay, now if we want to find the balance sheet, we go back up here. It's under the reports tab still. Go to the balance sheet. Now we want to do a custom report for May 2012. Oh, let's do the 31st and run that report. Okay, so as of May 31st, 2012, this is our balance sheet. Now, our statement of owner's equity is technically kind of included here in the balance sheet. There's not actually a way, at least not that I've found, to separate the statement of owner's equity. There's not actually a report called that in this version of QuickBooks. There might be a way in an upgraded version of QuickBooks to somehow customize the balance sheet to just include only the equity accounts. And maybe you could modify the report to include the dates for the entire month. But I don't see that option here. All right, let's move on to the general journal, which I actually did show you already, but I'll show you once more. Oh, by the way, these custom reports that I'm doing, I could actually have QuickBooks memorize them. So say I'm going to look at this again, and I could call it May 2012 balance sheet. So I didn't have to input the custom dates again, and I would click OK. Go into memorize reports and click down here on run report, and there it is again. So just an FYI. Okay, general journal, we'd go to report list, still in the reports tab. And again, I've already been there to the journal, but we can also look at it under accountant and taxes. And there it is. And again, I could run it for May 1st to May 31st of 2012, but I actually already memorized this one, so I'm going to go in here to show you this again really quickly. And this should be all of our, I'm going to make this big for you. Should be all of our entries. There we go. Okay. So now for some troubleshooting tips. If you're having any issues trying to find out how to do something or enter something in a particular tab or module, you'll sometimes see a little button that says how do I. You can always click on that, and your question doesn't have to be pertaining to the screen that you're on. You could bring up the index and enter a totally different question. But here, what happens when you click the how do I in a particular screen is that it shows you questions or options pertaining to the screen that you're on. So in this instance, we're in reports, so it says how do I print a report, or how do I change what a report shows. And that might be something like the dates. It might give you an option, give you an explanation of how to change to custom dates. You can click on index, and you could type the beginning of a keyword. So report, for example. It gives you different options, and if you browse through, you can find hopefully find the answer to your question. Another way to search for your answers, to go up to the help menu that's always on the right upper right hand corner of your screen. Click on help. That'll open up a new tab in your browser, and here you can search for more answers through QuickBooks Online support. You can type in questions, like you could type in report again here, see what type of things it brings up. Memorized reports, we were just talking about that. It might bring up problems that people have encountered. And another option is to, let's go back one. So you can answer your questions here, but you also could join in a QuickBooks community and see what other people are posting, possibly other accountants, maybe up and coming accountants, and other people with questions. You could go to contact us here in the same screen, and you'll notice here QuickBooks is currently closed, but on the weekdays and Saturdays you can call this phone number 1-800-488-7330 and ask questions one-on-one. And if that doesn't work, which I would hope it does, you can always Google search your question. I'm sure there's plenty of discussion forums online for QuickBooks, and as a last resort, you could always ask a friend or a fellow accountant. And I believe that's all I have for you today. And again, this is Catherine Johnson for my financial accounting assignment regarding problem AP 5-1A. And I wish all those that are learning accounting in QuickBooks best of luck, and I hope this helps. Thank you.